FlossTube, it's Kat from Kat Stitch. Welcome to my channel. Today is FlossTube number 12 and it is the 19th, Sunday the 19th of June 2022. For those that are joining me for the first time, you've probably chosen a good one to come to because you're going to see what I've been doing this year so far. And for, and if you like it, sweet, comment below and thumbs up and subscribe and ring the little dingy dong thing so you can get when I load up. For those that have returned, thank you guys so much for coming back and joining the madness. I think Monkey might act up today, just letting you know. So he's just been a bit weird. I don't know whether it's the weather, and the weather is... yeah, it's gone all overcast again. We've pretty much had this crap weather for the last week, although we did have a beautiful day on Wednesday. Can't beat Wellington on a fine day. It's been really good. Yeah, so thank you very much for coming back. Today is one of those bad hair days. I sort of thought might as well join the party in regards to talking about hair. So it's just going to do what it's going to do, and the weather's not going to let me straighten it at all. It goes... I actually just ran the brush through it and it went whoop like that, and so I was like, okay, let's not do that again. We stopped brushing. Okay, it is a bit cold, and so let me just try and get this done, and hopefully I'll be able to load this up a bit better than I did last week, because last week it was a nightmare. It took hours and hours and hours and hours to get it to upload, and it was driving me nuts because first it wouldn't save it, and I was thinking, oh my god, please don't tell me I have to do that again. But then it did finally. As you can hear, my voice is a bit but that's okay. It's probably just I need more liquid or something like that. So I've got my coffee made. The only thing is I've only just made it, so it's hot. Yeah. Okay, so what's happening today? Right, so we'll go through, what's on Floss, a little bit of what's happening, and then we're going to do the mid-year review of 22, which is just to cover the things that have started this year, the things that I've worked on this year, and the things that have finished this year. I'm trying to sort of keep paper to a minimum, so chances are there'll be a lot of inserts of pictures, either of what the design is, what it's supposed to look like, or before pictures if there are any, but regard this as the before because most of them have not been worked on. You'll see over behind me my whip is a lot smaller. Basically the ones on the second shelf, those are the only whips that I've got left from last year, so I've either removed them or finished them. When I say removed them, I mean dismantling and never to be seen again. Up on the top shelf, those are kits. So those ones kitted up, whether they're bought ones or ones that I'm going to do. So far I've actually got more to kit up, but I just haven't got around to it yet. Right, so first up, what's been happening? Well, today was a shite week really, in regards to stitching, because, well, the start of the week anyway, ended on a strong. I was back in the office and I really didn't cope too good this week with the office. But good manager. I finished half day on Wednesday and then I got to work from home on Thursday, and then wasn't working Friday and Saturday, so I was a lot better. But on Monday and Tuesday I hardly stitched. I just couldn't focus at all and I was just exhausted. So that's sort of my plans for the week right out the door. I don't know why I tell you guys plans that I'm going to do next week, because in reality, how often do I actually stick to those? I don't know. Very rarely. So I'm now just going to stick to loose planning, because it's a bit more realistic for me. And the expectations will be lower for you, so you can be happily impressed by what I do manage to achieve over the week. Now, as you know, I was supposed to be going for a sewing lesson, as I said last week, yesterday, but because of how I was for the week and things like that, I felt a bit of self-care was needed. So basically that was just shutting myself in, a lot more meditation and just focusing on stitching and not talking to anyone and just the peace. Although I watched a heck of a lot of YouTube, which was good. So, so I'm feeling a lot better headspace wise today. And, yeah, and then I've been told Flexi has been approved. So I'm not 100% sure which 2 days I get to work from home. I know Monday is definitely one, so that's good. I just haven't had it confirmed whether it's Tuesday or Thursday is my other at-home day. Either one will be fine, you know, because that's the start and the end of my week, because I work Monday to Thursday, although I am on call for emergencies and civil defence and that sort of thing. So, yeah. But when those sort of things happen, I'm at home and I can do everything at home, so I don't have to go into the office. So, other than that, Bobby's doing well. Aren't you, Bob? Yeah. He's doing good. He's wondering, what are you wondering? You're wondering if there's going to be a treat involved, and you know, say hello to everybody. This is my boy, Bobby McGee, if you haven't met him already, but you would have met him in one of the first... Oh, did I find an itchy spot? I did. He's my 5-year-old Australian Shih Tzu, and he's overdue for a haircut. But the thing is, the weather's gotten really cold, and I don't want him getting cold. So I'm going to sort of just try and trim it a little bit and give him a good brush and wash, but it was a bit cold this morning to have a bath. It was. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? It was just a bit cold. Monkey is around here somewhere. He's been his usual mischievous self, although he has been a bit argumentative this week, so who knows. Next week, on Friday, is Matariki in New Zealand. That is the Māori New Year celebration that we're now going to be having as an annual holiday. You'll be able to read about it. I'll put a link down below to a page, maybe, if I can remember to do that. And the Wellington Stitchy group is having a Stitchy get-together over in Jayville to do midwinter Christmas sort of stitching and that sort of thing, or just any stitching really. But the focus is going to be, you know, there's going to be the opportunity to stitch up some maybe Christmas ornaments and things like that. So yes, I'm doing a Christmas ornament. I'm breaking a lot of rules this year, and I'm not going to say rules, but you know, a lot of usual practice, I suppose. So I'm purposely doing one not for anyone in particular. This one's actually going to be for me because I quite like it, the design that I've picked out to start on Friday next week. So the reason I wanted to do this today is because next Sunday, by then I should have a loose idea of, well, I'm going to say a little less loose of an idea of what I'm going to do for the rest of the year. Because, as you know, at the start of this year, because I was turning 50 in April, I wanted to try and complete 50 cross stitches, 50 charts. I didn't want them to be all little tiny things, but there are some, you know, I knew that some would be included, but I didn't want any whopping great big ones either, because I really don't have, I know I've got wall space now, but I've got a lot to hang up, and with what I've already stitched and completed over the last couple of years, my wall space will be gone. But yeah, so today's question is, have I done the 50? I've counted like 4 or 5 times, and every time I get a different result, so we'll work it out as we go. There'll also be the new starts that I did this week, as well as ones that I've started this year, so they're my whips for 22, which I want to try and finish in the next couple of months if I can, before I go into a whole bunch of other new ones. Although other new ones are going to be getting started, I've actually got a few samplers. I've got a little bit of haul, not a lot actually. We might as well do the haul because there really is not much. I got some really cool clips. You might have seen them before. You'll see them on some of my items because they're just so handy. They're really, really handy. But there was a decent, so I got those. So that was part of my haul. I got some lovely crystals because I like my crystals, and so I got some more tumbled crystals which we're getting made use of. And then on our de-stash page, I don't know what's happened. I've been corrupted. I really have. So we're going to do my little bit of haul, and then we'll do what's on floss, and then we'll go into my whips and that sort of thing. Because I'm getting ahead of myself as usual. It's like, oh my God, Kat, slow down. And slow down, you're talking. Okay, so so there's my semi-goal this year is to try designers I haven't stitched before. And in styles that aren't really my usual, but I like. So when I saw these two, I was like, oh, okay, 2 designers I haven't done and I don't have any charts for. So I got Barrack Samplers Miss Lila's House. So I'm going to see if you can, here we go. Here we go. And I like, where are we? Here we go. I like the fact, sorry, it's a photo, so there's going to be some glare. I like the fact that they've got the version with dark fabric and with light fabric. I like that. I think that's cool. I'll probably do it in the light because I struggle on the dark. And then the other one is the Drawn Thread Welcome Spot Sampler. Now again, I'm probably going to get the glare, sorry. But there we go. And I think that is actually really cute, and it doesn't look too big. It's 89 by 89, so it's only small. So I sort of think that's pretty cool. And this one is a little bit bigger. So this one is 101 by 133. So Bobby, cut it out. So on 14 count or 28 count over 2, it would be 7 1/8 by 9.5. So still pretty good, not huge. As long as I try and keep things under 8 by 10, unless absolutely necessary, I'll be able to find ways to use it and to do things with it. So those are the 2 that I got in my haul. So just going to go in here for later on plans. Okay, so what's on floss? I keep on thinking I don't know. If I get creative and if I can figure it out, there might be a little what's on floss, yeah, flash in there. Okay. So Nara again recommended a few more channels to me. Thank you, Nara. Now I am always curious about finding Canadian it's monkey no Canadian flosses. You're just being obnoxious. It's only because I wouldn't give him a treat. He's been a grumpy bum. But I love Canadian, I want to find more Canadian flossies. And okay, Samantha from the HYGGE Stitcher. I'll write it down below. I'm sure it's HYGGE Stitcher. And she's from Canada and she's lovely. She has about 10, I think, yeah, there's about 10 episodes or 10 episodes, videos, or whatever. Episodes, I think episodes is fine. And yeah, she was really enjoyable. She is very calming. She does some beautiful work. And she's just so bubbly. It's like, oh, whatever she's drinking, I want some of, because boy, just the energy you get from her is beautiful. So the HYGGE Stitcher, Samantha, I'll put her link down below. And then another duo that I've only just come across yesterday. Now I actually spent some time, I did the search for FlossTube #1, and I did watch a lot of #1s, parts of, and stuff like that. And I saved a few to watch more of later. And that sort of thing, but these 2 sort of stopped me going any further because I was enjoying watching them so much. And that is 2 Needles Pulling Thread, Missy and Kathy. Now I think they're away at StitchCon this weekend, but that was the episode that I watched them getting prepared, and then I went back to #1 and I've slowly been watching them all. So I think I've got another 2 episodes to watch and then I'll be up to date. But they are a giggle. They are very lovely. They are so different. Which is really inviting. So it doesn't matter what your preference is or anything like that. Sorry, I'm just seeing all of the reflection of my glasses, and sorry about that. Yeah, it doesn't matter what your preference is. Between the 2 of them, it's pretty much covered. Although borderline for me, but that's because I'm mainly Halloween and not a lot else, but now I'm starting to expand. So yeah, I love watching them. The finishes are beautiful. I love how gung-ho they are. It's like, oh, we'll give it a go, we'll work it out, we'll fix it, and stuff like that. I'm in awe of living in a place that has that much snow that often. I don't know if I could live in a place like that. I need my sun. I don't like summer. I like spring and autumn sunshine, and we get decent temperatures here. So the last time we had snow in Wellington was in 2011, I think. It was just after I moved over to Wellington. I'm sure it was the winter after. And I moved to Wellington again December 2010. Yeah. And I'm sure it was the next winter. Maybe. Anyway. Two Needles Pulling Thread, Missy and Kathy. They are absolutely lovely. They're a bit of a giggle. And both have their daughters getting married this year. So there's that as well. It's like, whoa. So you get to hear about that too, which is cool. And you know, it's just lovely. They're just really a joy to watch. So if you haven't heard about them, go and find them. Two Needles Pulling Thread. I'll put their link down below. Also caught up with, just quickly, Crisscross Stitch, Off the Grid Needle Arts with Caroline, Carol from Saltbox Stitcher, Jacob, Modern Folk Embroidery. You know, there should be a drinking game in regards to Jacob. The amount of times in different flossies that mention his name. Every time you hear the word Jacob, you need to drink something. I knew I'd regret that because it's hot. Okay. Sorry. Here at the back looks a mess, but there we go. So yes, Jacob. Beth from the Steadfast Stitcher. Angie's Tiny House Stitcher. She was doing a recap, a mini recap. She didn't want to give too much away because she knew that there were people still going to Weekend B. So she went to Weekend A. So it was really good. There was just enough information, but not over the top. So there's going to be a lot of surprises for those Weekend Bs. Stacey from 911 Stitcher. Anna from Stitch Roadie. I really love watching Anna. I do. There is just something so calming and soothing watching Anna. She is just, yeah, she's just lovely. You know, very, very, very easy to connect to. And the things that she finds joy in and things like that, just wonderful. Really, really wonderful. Oh, is it The Perfect Stitcher? I watched her as well because she did a recap from her thing. There was a lot of energy in that one. She was just so excited. She was still, I think, coming down off the high of the weekend. And I also caught up with Neat and Knot by the Sea and Creatively, both Kiwi flossies that released new ones this week. Well, Lee will be I watched her Sunday one. Yeah, so she'll be releasing another one today. And Neat and Knot by the Sea, I watched their one that was midweek, and both wonderful. So I'm not going to put a whole bunch of links like I usually do down below. I'm just going to put the basics. So the only ones I'm going to put down below are the HYGGE Stitcher and Two Needles Pulling Thread, because I've had the other ones down below multiple times. So if you want to see them, go back and check out my old ones. Okay, so have you finished chasing your brother? Have you? Has he been in it yet? I know. Do you want to come up? Do you want to come up? Come on. Come on, Tubby. Okay. Okay, on to what have I started so far this year. Right, earlier in the year, actually I'll start one I'm not going to show you because it hasn't changed, and it's just a small bit of the outline, which I'm sorry about the noise, which I'm quite disgusted at, and that's that one. I should have done more because she's beautiful, and I had planned to do more. I just didn't. No excuse, I just didn't. But here we go. Okay, so this one again was started in April. Now these I'm just going to have to generalize because I haven't got any of the notes for them. But it is a tiny modernist mushroom forest. I'm stitching it on 14 count opal, pretty much using the called for colours, but I've only just started it, so that may change. And it's, yeah, so 14 count opal Ada, and that's where I'm up to so far. So it's pretty cool. I'm quite happy, you know. Again, it's those things that, you know, you want to sort of do more on, but you just don't. You know, so you would have seen this next one last week. It's a self-dyed fabric. I think it was like an ice dye thing. I just ran the iron over them very quickly today just to try and... Ooh, it's getting... No, it's not a fancy one. It's just a piece of board. But so that I can hold it up. So there we go. So you would have seen that one last week. It was supposed to come out again this week. Yeah, it didn't. But there you go. So, oops. My poor gnome with mushroom. I will put the information about each one here because my brain hurts and I didn't think to write all the notes down for this. It was hard enough for me to write the notes down for other ones. It is getting stitched on 14 count peacock feathers by Jodie Ree Designs, and there's a couple of colour changes only because I didn't have the threads at the time. So there we go. So there's my gnome with mushroom. He's quite cute. I think he's quite cute. Now this one, it's a magazine. It's out of a magazine. It's out of the Cross Stitcher October 2019 magazine. It's only because it's on the page. And it's this one here. Now, I really love this. I think it's really, really cool. This part here has been an absolute bloody nightmare. Excuse the French language, whatever. It has been a pull my hair out stitch. But I've nearly got the top part done. Nearly. So, there we go. This is 14 count Mystic fabric. I'm just not sure. I think it was one of the ones that I got from the games. So yeah, it's not looking too bad. See, these are those clips that I was saying that I've got. These ones here. It's not too bad. It's just there is a lot of confetti, so it's quite deceptive. There is a heck of a lot of confetti, and I really have a hard time keeping track of confetti. Now this one here is one that I said I've finished. That's it. I'm not stitching any more on because I'm struggling with this one in regards to my site. It's just having a really hard time focusing for any length of time. And because there was still so much left to do, I thought, you know what, I'm going to finish it. It's at the end of the second panel. Now I was going to fully finish this, and then I realized down the bottom it's a whip because I haven't finished the other leg going back. I've done the leg of black going one way and I haven't gone back. So I've done it, part of it, but not all of it. So this is a sampler. Yes, you heard it right. I've done a sampler and it's even got an alphabet, but it's my Halloween one. And I sort of figured if I was going to do a sampler, it was with the alphabet. It was going to be Halloween. And when I saw this one, I couldn't resist it. I could have skipped that top panel and not bothered about the alphabet. That's true. Could have done that. Could have skipped the numbers as well. But I liked the alphabet on this one. So I did it. So this is Joan Elliott. It's called Halloween Sampler. And here we go. Oh, there we go. Okay. So it's supposed to be a silhouette. It's all in black. I have switched out, obviously, a lot of colours. I'm using Jodie Ree and, I don't know, I think there's some thread works in there as well. And Etoile and Treasure Braid. So, as you can see down the bottom, I'm missing some stitchy parts. Is it focusing? Yeah. So,
it was in the finished pile. It's back in the whip pile. So that's okay. It won't take me very long. It's only a little bit. Now, one of the other ones I decided as I was dismantling my whips and and ones like that to not continue on was Doreen Jones' Halloween Night. Like I said, I love this design. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. I just decided it wasn't going to be for me, and it was going to be way too big for what I wanted. So, monkey, get out of it. So I cut off the bottom part because I did actually quite like the bottom part, and I thought I could turn it into a drum. I just need to finish stitching it. So I'm basically going to mirror the green part on the other side. It's not going to go all the way up, but let's have a look. Okay, so I'm going to go just along here to add some green at the top with the orange and stuff, and that's pretty much going to be the sort of the stopping point. Got to finish doing the shadowing on the Halloween, and then finish the border as well, because I'm going to add the colours in there. And then I'm going to watch a tutorial on how to make a drum. So yeah, that fabric is 14 count. It was one that I jar dyed with Rit liquid dye. To think about it for a minute. Okay, the next one is Twin Peaks Primitives, Witch's Craft Room. See, I will get it right eventually. Started strong, and then I just but I have got it all ready to continue on with. So I think I just got a bit distracted. But it's getting stitched on Popcorn String by Jody Redesigns. It was one of the Advent releases. So that's what I'm up to so far. And yes, I'm switching out all the colours, of course. I'm basically stitching from stash. Fortunately, I've got a lot of over-dyed floss stash, so I get to have a lot more fun. The next one that I started, I think this was last month or maybe early this month. It was after I finished Witch Beulah. And please ignore the thread because I'm halfway through a stitch. It was after I did Witch Beulah by Finally a Farm Girl that I went back and I got this one. So Beulah's Brew, and I'm still working on her. So and this is on Jody Ree's Millionaire's Shortbread 14 count Ada. And then from Primitive here. Now I got this out of a Just Cross Stitch magazine. I'm just not remember, I can't remember which year it was that it came out of. But it's Primitive here, and it's called Witchy Tea Time. And this is one that I didn't have the threads over here because there were some threads that obviously are over in the States, but not here. Or somewhere else but here. And so I basically changed those coloured threads. Again, I can't tell you what they are because I didn't write these down. This is just sort of a quick mini part. So that's where we're up to. Witchy Tea Time. It's a little bit bigger than I expected it to be, but that's okay. So this is just getting stitched simply on 14 count Zwigat, whatever. 14 count Ecru. Yeah, Ecru. This one is Nocte Flora design called Fang Flower. Not a huge start, and I'm not 100% sure which direction it's supposed to be because this was a last minute grab. It's getting done on Black Hole by Jody Redesigns 14 count Ada. The red does show up really nicely. I'm using the DMC threads for that one. Now, these last two, this was like a last minute thing. I was just doodling this week, trying out black work, whatever it's called, all the backstitchy stuff. Considering I hate backstitch, it's a giggle. So I was just playing with different shapes and that sort of thing.
So I'm going to do something with it. I don't know whether to turn it into a coaster or just put it into a card or just make it a cute little ornament, you know, make it a little pillow or something like that. So I'll do something with that. So that's why I haven't got it in the finished pile, because I don't know if I'm going to add stuff to it. I might add beads to it and stuff. So that's why it's in the work in progress pile still. And this one was another one that I dismantled. I was just going to throw it away, but then I sort of looked at it and I thought, you know, I could add something to that. I could add a cauldron or some bats or, you know, something to it and then make it like a simple hanging flat finish or something. It was one of the trees in, it was a Just Cross Stitch magazine, and I was playing with my overdyes, and I just sort of thought, you know, that took a lot of time to stitch that tree. So I'm just gonna, you know, I'm gonna unstitch, you know, that part there. Might leave the snake there, and then maybe put like a cauldron or something like that. Maybe some spiders, and just turn it into something. So I'm just gonna go through all my clip art, I suppose, and see what I can put in there. Yeah, I'm not even going to go over that one again. Yes, the back stitch, I haven't done it. So just do it, for crying out loud, cat. Okay. I'll do it eventually. Okay. Now, I did start a couple of things this week. One of them at about midnight last night. I should have been sleeping, but, you know, because I hardly slept the night before. But after doing the last couple, I really needed back to my Halloween roots sort of thing. So I grabbed this one, which has been in my folder for ages. It's from Just Cross Stitch Halloween 2013. The Gatekeeper. The designer is Cherry and Peggy Tipton from Fern Ridge Designs. Now this one, I probably should have had a look at everything other than the chart, because there's a lot of new stitches that I'm going to have to go and look up on how to do, because I don't know how to do Smyrna, Queen, Nun stitch. So I'm going to go and watch some tutorials and give those a go. So this is going to be an experimental one. So this is getting stitched on 14 count Opal Ada called Sleepy Hollow from Live and Die in LA. I'm just going to put that behind it. There we go. So I've decided to use, for the border, it is Colourworks Rainy Day. And then at the moment, the cat and the crows or ravens or whatever they are in Gentle Arts Onyx. So that was last night's start. And then earlier in the week, even though I was supposed to be focusing on trying to finish some, sorry, noise, I won one on Instagram. louisianasstitchinggal had a little mini celebration to celebrate 200 followers. So if you're not already following her, go and check her out. She does some beautiful work as well. And it was, you know, write down, you know, your favorite or, you know, your most wanted, as long as it's not out of print, design. And my name came up and I was like, oh my God. And then I sort of thought, oh, look, I'm on the other side of the world. I don't want you having to spend money on postage, because it's ridiculous to come, you know, to send something all the way over here. So I said, you know, as an option, what about something from Etsy instead? And I sent her 3 to choose from. So it'd still be a surprise to me, you know, but there were 3 that were on my wish list of about 300. And she picked probably my favorite one out of the 3. And that is, Of course, I put the paper in the wrong place. By another designer I haven't stitched. I know Subrosa has had a lot of designs out there. I just haven't stitched one yet. Well, now I am. So it's this one. Black Cat Inn. I love this. I just sort of think, you know, it's gothy, which I like. But it's a little more, you know, it's a little traditional-ish, I think. I mean, look at the motifs and stuff. They look pretty cool. And so I ended up starting it, even though I was trying to finish another one, which I did. I finished the other one, and then instead of me going on to the other one I was supposed to finish, I went straight into this. And on the piece of 25 count lugana that I've got, that I did Matilda Mouse on, and I made a start about 200 stitches because I can get the pattern to work on Pattern Keeper, so I'm happy. So there we go. So that's my start. I'm doing it 1/1. Glutton for punishment. But I love it. I think it's going to be really, really cool. So there we go. Okay. So that's it for whips and new starts. Now we're on to the finishes. Okay, and here's where the challenge is. Did I finish 50 in that pile? There is going to be one that I'm not going to show the pit, you know, to show you this way. I'm going to have to put a photo in because I refuse to move it again because it looks really good. And there's also one I can't find. I have hunted for it, and I know I've got it because it was still one that I wasn't sure if it was a whip or a finish, because again, it's that thing of, do I want to add that in or leave it as it is? I can't find it. So, and yet, you know, every time I'm looking for something else, I find the dang thing and I'm moving it all the time. And now that I want to find it, don't know where it is. Okay. So this time I tried to be a little bit more organised. When I say organised, I mean just to have more information about them, well, as much as I can remember. And I've been pretty successful, I think. I can give you the month and sometimes even the date that I finished it. I can't give you the day that I started it because I just started stitching and didn't think to write notes. And not all of them can I tell you the fabric. I'll try and tell you the ones that I can the most of. Pretty much all of them are 14 count Ada. I know that. And then so yeah, apart from if there's any different, I'll tell you. Right. So my start and finish on the 1st of January. This is called Lunar Trick, and it is by Mill Hill. Love all the beads. It's very cool. So I started and finished that on January 1st. That was my January start. On January 2nd, I started and completed this one. It's not very well framed, I'm just saying that now. So this is called Wicked Night by Guela Ponti and Ticci. It's from the Just Cross Stitch magazine, October 15. And the fabric is just a miscellaneous purple Ada that I had. I got the charms from AliExpress. And it's supposed to have like one big witch charm, but I don't have a big witch charm, so I used 2 small ones. So it's a party. They're off to a party, and yeah, so there's that one. Next is whip. Where have I put whip? Oh, there it is. Okay. Whip by Pickle Barrel Designs. This is on fabric that I dyed. I finished it on the 7th of January. Again, not a great framing job. Does use glow in the dark thread in it, but yeah, it's pretty cool. It's one that I think, you know, a lot of cross stitchers should have, because honestly, how many of us don't have these sorts of graveyards? but there. Then 'Tis the Season to be Spooky. I forgot that one. Got those two around the wrong way. Okay. Sneaking. So 'Tis the Season to be Spooky. This is by Luba Davies Atelier on Etsy. And the design is like a silhouette, so it's all in black. So I added in the purple, which is Threadworks, and it is stitched on Chinese Fighting Fish by Jody Ree Designs. It's another January finish. Let's see, we're still in January. Yep. Spooky Stitching is what this one is. Yeah, Spooky Stitching by Pornoshka, and it's from the Just Cross Stitch Halloween 2019 magazine. The spider charm I got from AliExpress. So there we go. The fabric is 14 count cassis from Jody Ree. Haunted Kitty, which is Mill Hill, a little one. I did that one on the 15th, including all the little beads and the little charm, little heart charm. And then on the 16th I did Moonstruck Manor, which I have sort of fully finished. So it is hanging. But yeah, so Moonstruck Manor. I love the little pumpkin charm down here. It's very cute. And again, all the Mill Hill kits come with all the beads, the thread, the perforated plastic, the chart, the little beads, and the little charms that might be on the design. Next up, we had Happy Halloween. I got these around the wrong way. Oh, missed one. Okay, before Haunted Kitty and Moonstruck Manor, I did Home Sweet Haunted Home by Prim Stitcher Shop in Etsy. And this is stitched on 14 count Simnel Cake by Jody Ree. I love this fabric. I really want more of this fabric because it's really cool. I mean, it would even do for some of the other primitive designs that I'm going to do, so I might have to talk to Michelle at Jody Ree's. Okay, now we're on to Happy Halloween. This is a biggie, and I didn't realise it was going to be quite so big when I did it. But I do love it. I'm just trying to work out, it's probably going to be a banner, or I don't know. Ideas are good. Maybe I could make it like a long pillow. So this one is called Happy Halloween. It's by Cross Stitch Patterns with 1T from Etsy, and it's on fabric that I dyed. So you see what I mean? It's a bit bigger than I expected. Probably should have gone the other way, but never mind. Here we go. Oh, of course. So I'm just trying to get it in the right height. Here we are. So it's really cool, and it's using variegated thread up the top there. The light keeps changing just because the sun keeps going. Sorry. Just acting weird. Acting a bit loopy. Then we have Hildas Brew from Bendy Stitchy. And this is on a piece of fabric that I dyed using all the called for threads, although I did replace the white with glow in the dark. Spells is next, is it? No, the Fallen Magician. Okay, so Witch's Garden Crafts are doing a tarot stitch along, and I've only done the first two because I'm pretty slack at stitch alongs. I'm keeping all the designs because I eventually will probably do more of them. I don't know if I'll do all of them though, because some of them I'm like but I've done the Fool and the Magician. I'm doing them individually. I'm not doing them on one big thing. There's no point doing them that. And I'm stitching them on fabric that I dyed. So there we go. So there's the Magician and the Fool. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? Okay. Those are probably going to end up in a in my my journal. I don't know. Then we got another one of Bendy Stitchies, Hildas Hayride, again on the same sort of fabric. Oh, that's good. I spent time this morning trying to. I mean, I'm not a great ironer, but I just wanted to get as many of the creases out. So there we go. These Hildas Hayride. Again, using the called for colours. I do love the Threadworks thread around the outside. I think that just really makes it really gorgeous, and I love the frog. Next one is by Teresa Magida. It's from Just Cross Stitch Halloween 2015, and it's stitched on the Jodie Ree Zen Garden is the fabric. Just a nice small one. I have made a few changes to this one, admittedly. So the white is glow in the dark. The mouse, I've made a grey mouse. I think it was like a brown one in the original design. And just a few other little tweaks. I've changed the colour of the drawer. Yeah. So, and I also use Dinky Dye's Mother of Pearl around the S. So as you can see, slight variation going on there. I love that Mother of Pearl thread. I'm definitely going to have to get some more of that one because it's beautiful. Okay, next up was the Witchy Stitcher Haunt Me. So we're into February now, just saying. This was stitched on Jodie Ree Oak King 14 count opal, so it does have a little bit of a sparkle. The white, sorry, trying to get it to stay straight. The white is glow in the dark. I didn't use the exact colours because I didn't have the exact colours, so I just chose the two oranges based on what I had in stash at the time. And yeah, I quite like that. I'm not really a Valentine girl, but you know, that was cool. Next is from the Prim Stitcher shop on Etsy, the Old Witches shop, and that is one that I framed. So this is on fabric that I dyed. Again, it's not a great framing job, but it's framed. It's fully finished. I really love this. I love the detail in regards to my little ghosty. He's glow in the dark, and the moon is with that Mother of Pearl Dinky dyes. But I really like this. Sorry about the glare. So it's pretty cool. Then we have another one from Prim Stitcher shop called Bewitching, and you got both of them in the same purchase, so it was like two designs. This was stitched on Christmas Fair. It's an opal 14 count by Jodie Ree. Another big one. So again, I'm like, why did I do the big one? Now what am I supposed to do with it? But this one I think I can make like a wall hanging or a pillow, like a long pillow. What do you reckon? Yeah, again, it's a really lovely design. It's really, Prim Stitcher shop designs are so easy to stitch up. That's probably why I've got so many of them. So right, there's that one. Then we have another little one, Ritual and Spells. This is originally designed by Teresa Magida. It's in Just Cross Stitch Halloween 2016. I don't know the name of the fabric, but I believe it's another Jodie Ree. A lot of these, I'm going to have a whopping great big pile of pillows because it's my favourite finish. And I've got this big cane basket with a handle over I used to use to display my chocolate truffles and stuff at markets. So I've looked at those trough bowls and the dough bowls and the tier things and stuff like that. And yeah, eventually I probably will try and get something like that. But for now, no. I've got a basket, I can use that. Okay, next we have Boo Latte. And this is another one from Just Cross Stitch. Halloween 2017. It's a Frony Ritter design. It is on Jody Ree fabric called Feldspar, Feldspar, 14 count. It's really cool. I like that one. This one, now it is a primitive hair design. I found it in a Just Cross Stitch magazine. Just trying to remember what's the one that I've got it on. Oh, Spooky Mansion. Oh, that Boo Latte was on Passionberry Cake. No, it's not. It's on Feldspar. I wrote that down wrong. Okay, so my notes might be approximate. Okay, so this is the Spell Store, and I made a lot of changes to it. So let's go. Okay, so in here I'm using the Dinky Dyes Mother of Pearl thread. For the Broom, the black down here, and no, not the black cat, and I think the boots. I have got it noted down somewhere. I've used a lot of variegated thread that I've slipped in. I also made a mistake here. The shelf is supposed to be thicker, and I miscounted. So oops. But I just left it. It worked. So there we go. Oh, and this I used a Threadworks for that, and a different Threadworks for the broom stick handle. Stick. Yeah, loved that. That was such a fun one to work on. I'm thinking that's going to be a wall hanging, you know, turn it into a banner, or, you know, something like that. Now I've got the hiccups, don't know why. Okay, so after the Spell Store, Nightmare Before Coffee, which is what I am before I've had my coffee. This design is by Barefoot Needle Art, Just Cross Stitch Halloween 2021 magazine, and I love this. It's like, there's been a lot I've noticed on Etsy and stuff, different versions of this, but I love the version I did. I think that's pretty cool. It is stitched on Jody Ree Raspberry Matcha Mousse, 14 count Opal. I just think he's fun. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Just so you know, there are some non-gothy Halloweeny stuff included today. Just so you know. Okay, so the next one that I stitched and finished was my mini Bisconu. This is the first time I've made a Bisconu. Somebody said to me, just try and do like a, you know, just get 2 squares and put them together and do it that way. And I went to do that, but I didn't want it to be plain. I'll be annoyed. So I just came up with a little simple black work, I suppose. I just kept stitching and until I was happy with it. So that is the one and only Bisconu that I've ever made. Don't get me wrong, it looks beautiful. You know, I mean, I love the idea, the concept of the Bisconu. I just don't. It was just a real struggle visually for me to be able to see and get it. What I would recommend anyone doing it, when it comes time to joining the sides together, make sure you've got one of the sharp needles, not a blunt one, because it makes it easier to go through the threads that you need to be able to hold them together. Just a tip. Okay, so the next one is this one, which I still have plans for. I just haven't gotten around to doing them. And that is the Hocus Pocus Trio by Stitching Crossing on Etsy. And I've stitched it on Lavender Tea Pancotta. this was using Carrie's Creations threads. You'll see that there is a slight difference with the middle one. That's because I ran out of the thread. So I just basically did a bit of blending with the one length that I had left. I had a look in DMC and tried to sort of find something very similar. The thread from Carrie's Creation was called Baja Blue, and I ran out. I thought I had enough, but it's deceptive how much thread goes into these, in all honesty. It is really, really deceptive. But I'm happy with how it's turned out, so that will get finished in the next few months. I keep on thinking I need a finishing day, but every time I've got a day that I could do finishing, I'd rather stitch. So yeah, I need to cut that out. So the next one is Witch on the Broom. And this is a giggle because I actually finished two on the same day, or around the same day. I just forgot to write one down. So there's one missing off my list. This is Witch on Broom by Harp Seal Crafts. It's stitched on Jody Ree Ice Dancers fabric, 14 count Ada. No, it's not framed properly, and that's fine. But I wanted her on my wall because I love her. The only adjustment that I did make was my darling said to me she needs bigger boobs. I mean, so to accommodate that, I added one more stitch here to bring it down so that the gap between the bottom of the breast and her leg was a little shorter. Slight deception, but what's one stitch? So there we go. So I really love that. There's just something, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, I need to stitch that. I need to stitch it. It's a need, not a want, it's a need. And then the one that I had forgotten that I'd done on the same day was by Mooncult 5000, again on Etsy, and it was stitched on the same piece of fabric, Ice Dancers by Jody Ree. And I thought this was quite funny, so that's why I had to do it. So get on loser, we're doing witchcraft. I thought she was cool. So that's by Mooncult 5000 on Etsy. I'm very tempted to do a whole bunch of those Saki ones, but my show would be X-rated by the end of it, so maybe not. Next we've got Boo Ghost. This one was just a little one from, I know it was a Just Cross Stitch magazine, I just don't know which one. I couldn't find it, and I got sick of, by midnight I was over looking through all my magazines online and trying to find the missing one to sort of say where it was. But it's this one here. It's stitched on a piece of Cookies and Cream by Jody Ree. Yes, the majority of my fabric is Jody Ree. She's in the UK. Fantastic range. I'm a member of her Fabric of the Month. 2 of them. Actually 3 of them. Of her clubs. And I've also done Advent for the last 2 years. So I've got a lot of her threads as well. She does custom dyeing. If there's a particular one that you want, colour and stuff. I've never been disappointed by any of her fabric. I've loved all of them. Some might have been a little harder for me to stitch on, but that's only because of the darkness of it, but I've loved the fabric. Now, this is the one that I'm missing, Gothic Window. So I don't know whether this is going to get moved over into the whip pile or not. I like the point that it's at. It's supposed to be all lattice in the window, but I like where it's at. It's a design by Lana Randolph, and it was from Just Cross Stitch Halloween 2020. But I don't know where I put it. It's hiding from me. It doesn't want anything else done to it. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, so another design by Primitive here is Sister Stitcher. I think it was a freebie on their website, I think. I'm not 100% sure. So this is stitched on Old World Map, Jody Ree Designs. I told you I'm not very good at ironing. But yeah, so I did change, you know, just a couple of the colours a little bit. Again, stitching from stash. What else have we got? We have got Witchy Boutique. Another crappy frame job, just saying. So before anyone comments, this is the one that I broke the glass on. It's just a cheap plastic frame, but I'm quite happy with that. I have actually got, because I had started this on another piece of fabric, you might remember, and I'd done this. I think I'd done the hat, and I'd started that before I realised I ain't gonna have enough room. So I've actually saved this, and I've cut it out. I'm gonna use it in my journal because I think it's really cute. I like my skirt. Oh, that is Witchy Boutique. That's a pickle barrel design from Just Cross Stitch Halloween 2019. I don't know what the fabric is that I did that on. It is 14 count. And I'm thinking it's another one of Jodie Ree's. I just don't know which one, sorry. Okay, so. Right. This one is Haunted House by Stitchworks from Just Cross Stitch Halloween 2013. You may remember this one. Now I changed the threads in the roof. Glow in the dark. That is Whisper thread. I just haven't fluffed it up yet. I should fluff it up. I mean, how hard can it be? Are you supposed to use like a brush or something to fluff it up? I don't know. And then I've used, I think I changed the green because I didn't like the green, or maybe I didn't have it. And I changed the band or the colour there. Also changed the colours of the pumpkins because I didn't have the right orange. So there's that one. And then this one, Halloween cat. The basic design is from Cute Magic on Etsy. I, again, used Whisper thread for the body, so I've got to brush it up. The only colour that's still the same is the yellow, and I think there was like 763 or something like that. That's the only colour. Everything else I changed. I used Week Dyes Works. That's Caron Water Lilies down the bottom, which is what I used on the roof on this side. So I sort of brought stuff around from each side, used the same colours where I could. And then this was my first ever pillow that I did, and I did it using the same technique as with a Bisconu, where I stitched a backstitch border and then I stitched the two together. I keep on thinking I should do something like add a charm or something like that, but I don't want to. I actually like pillows without the frou-frou on. I like the simplicity because I want the design to be the feature, not the trim or, you know, anything else. And I get distracted more by the trim sometimes than I do by the actual design, and I want the design to be the feature. So I'm not going to do anything else to it. Halloween tree. Yes, we're still going. Halloween tree. This is a Prim Stitcher shop design on Etsy, and I think this is Stormy Seas, I think, from Jodie Ree. I know it's a Jodie Ree one, I'm just not sure of the name. I love this. Now I changed the leaves to Threadworks because they were supposed to be individually each different colour and stuff, and I thought, well, no, I'm going to use this thread. That's my autumn leaves. We've got Glow in the Dark on there as well. We've got my Caron Water Lilies down the bottom. And I just, yeah, I love this. So it's going to get framed. I think it might get turned into a pillow. I'm wanting a range of sizes of pillows because of the basket, and I can stack them. The cool thing is the majority of them are going to be Halloween, so they get to be around all year. And yes, I'm going to leave them up all year. It's not changing. This is one. You know, when you find a design, you really enjoy doing it, and then you find out something about it, and you're like, and it's one of these. Now, I went on to Etsy, and I brought this design. And then in a D-stash, I got a book of what is it? Alma Lynn Designs. It wasn't Alma Lynn that I brought it off on Etsy. It didn't refer to Alma Lynn. There were tiny little changes. The dragon was exactly the same. The quote was exactly the same, just repositioned. I still like the work that I did. I just don't feel as confident when I'm looking at it because it was a, I mean, I don't know. There was nothing on the info about the seller, you know, about the item that it was a reproduction of, or it was, you know, parts were used with permission by. There was nothing like that. It never referred to the original artist. And I try not to rip anyone off, you know, and so to find out that I did, you know, but by then I'd already stitched it. And this was my birthday stitch. So I finished this on my birthday. And it wasn't until a week later that I found out. And it was like, so just dragon without my coffee. I mean, I love it. I think it's really cool. And I didn't do it with any intent to, you know, break any copyright by anybody or anything like that. So I'm gonna figure out what to do with it. It is getting it was stitched on silver tassels by Jodie Ree. It's quite a nice neutral. I have to get more of that one because I actually quite like that one. The fabric, not those designs. And then this one was a test stitch for Foxglove Findlings. She was trying out some floral star signs, but I don't think the design range is going ahead. I'm not 100% sure. And of course I had to do Taurus. So I changed the colour of the greens and changed the colour of the rose. But I actually quite like that. So that's going to get framed. I don't have a lot of stuff that refers to me in the house, so it's quite cool. Next up we had the winter. Now these are the ones that I started in April. This I finished on the 30th of April. So we're nearing the end. Now this was stitched on 14 count antique. So it's got a little bit of mottling on this side and none on the back. So it's almost like painted on. So I had to be careful because I kept on starting on the wrong side. So this is by Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting. On their blog, they give all of these lovely, beautiful little charts away for nothing. And the designs are really, really cute. Really enjoy doing them. I chose to do all of the Pinker and Pumpkin with the called for threads. So I'm on all the designs. I'm not changing anything. As hard as it is for me, but you know, because they're very sort of traditionally, you know, traditional looking sort of thing compared to what I usually stitch, I wanted to base it on what the designer had done. So that's the winter house. Then early May, I finished Aunt Bee's Somersault box. I love this, and this is what's got me hooked on bees. I've got a few more bee patterns that I want to do because I actually really love this. So that's Aunt Bee's Somersault box by Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting. Third out of the 5 that I started in April. Got some stuff on it. Is Willow Wisp Manor of Holler Lane. I think it is Holler Place, Holler Lane. And I love that. That is so cool. It's actually really deceptive. When you look at the design, you sort of think, oh yeah, that's pretty good, quick, easy, you know, stitch up. It's deceptive. It really is. There's a lot more stitches in those than you absolutely think. This one is one that I'm going to be redoing. This was that one that my first ever complete on 28 count Opal even weave, and I was doing it 1/1, and I was quite happy. I was really happy with my stitch.
And then I went and screwed it up when I tried to turn it into a pendant because I cut it too small. I didn't read the instructions properly, or I misunderstood which thing I was supposed to use as a template. And so I cut it too small. I've sort of glued it into this one, which is, you know, as a backup. I might make use of it, but there we go. So that's how small it is. Yeah. So we're making, because in next month we're having another stitchy get together in Wellington, and they said about stitching name tags. Plan B. Now the next one is one that I'm not moving, so it is Plant Killer. This is by Witchy Stitcher. I love this, and I also love how I've got it set up. It's very unusual for me. I don't usually get all, you know, dress things up and stuff like that, but yeah, this has actually started something for me. So now I'm starting to look for little things that I can turn into scenes and that sort of thing. So it is Plant Killer by the Witchy Stitcher. I'm trying to, and it's actually on Mystic Fabrics. I was thinking, brain's gone dead. It's on Mystic Fabrics. I don't know what the name of the fabric is. I think it was like one of the games ones, because I didn't really buy you know, fabrics. I always got them from the games, and some of them had names and some didn't, and I don't think that had a name. I'm not sure. But yeah, so that was, I love my Plant Killer, and it's very me because I do kill every plant around. This one was my disaster of a first attempt at a flat finish. It's on a 14 count from Jodie Ree. I'm just not 100% sure. It's one of her neutrals, and I want to get more of it, so I've got to try and work out what it is because I want more of this one because I like the colour. It is First Coffee Then the World, and it's by Vale Stitchery, V-A-L-E Stitchery on Etsy. So there we go. First Coffee Then the World. It's me. Yeah. It's the first time I'd ever done a flat fold. And I'm not the most patient person, so waiting for glue to dry, not my thing. But I can tick it off my list of things, of finishes. So that's that done. I'm okay about it. Okay, next is the second to last of the salt boxes. So this is Spring Green Salt Box by Pinker and Pumpkin. I did them all on the same fabric, so they're all on the antique Ada. I just remember that's what it was called, antique. Maybe it was antique ecru or something. It's so that it was mottled, so it wasn't plain, but it had antique. I got the fabric a while ago, like back in 2020, so Lord knows where the packaging is. But yeah, so I really quite like that, considering I'm not a huge fan of green. That was good. Then we have, now she's in the process of getting decorated, Witch Beulah, Finally a Farm Girl. This is stitched on another one of Jodie Ree. It's one of her neutrals, Smoky Grey or something like that. I got the tassel. I had like a tassel hanging around, and so I just attached that instead of stitching a little bit of back stitch around the mouse so that it would stand out a little bit more. And then this frame I got from, I can't remember whether it was the Warehouse or Kmart in New Zealand, in the clearance section. I've had it for ages and I've never known what the heck I was going to do with it. Well, she's at her door, sweeping out the broom, you know, sweeping it out, ready to welcome. I'm going to decorate it with some, like, you know, I'll put some little pumpkins down here. I'll stick them on. I'm going to put some lights in it. I just need to get all the bits and pieces to put her together. So that's Witch Beulah. Then we have
another mini. This is Matilda Mouse. I had gotten a piece of 25 count lugana to try. I still can't do the over 2. My eyes just don't focus long enough each time I look at the thing. So you'll be wondering, well, how the hell do you stitch on it? I don't know. A lot of it's by touch, in all honesty. So this is Matilda Mouse. It is stitched 1/1. I have made a few different changes with the colours and things like that, which I have got written down somewhere. I sent the colours that I used to Chrissy. I love her, and I am planning on doing the rest of them, because there's another mouse with the pin cushion. Yeah, another stitchy mouse, so I want to do that one too. But I love them. And Finding a Farm Girl is a new designer, so I'm allowed. When do I count them no longer as a new designer for me? I've got to at least to have done one, but if I get a series, then I just I'll carry on with that series. I just may not stitch any of their other designs. So I've got Beulah and the mouse with Chrissy. So when she releases more of those, they'll be getting stitched because they're allowed. Okay, next was Little House Needleworks, another new designer for me. Cafe Latte, because it's my favourite coffee. This is stitched on 14 count Rustico oatmeal, I think, Ada. And I used the cord 4 threads, so they're all, is it Colourworks, I think? But I used all the cord 4 threads. I'm just not overly impressed by Bamboo. Bamboo is the cup. But the more I look at it, the happier I am. So, and it does depend on how the light hits it as to how much the bamboo shows up. But when I look at it in person, it's quite visible. It's just through the camera, it's crap. Next. So when the hell did she finish? Yes, these are all done this year. Just so you know, these are all completes for 2022. And there's only been a couple that I didn't start this year. So 'Tis the Season was when I started last year. No. There might have been about 3 that I didn't start this year out of all these finishes. All the rest are started and finished this year. So this one is Light a Single Candle. It's by Modern Folk Embroidery. It's my first one of Jacob's designs, and I was hooked when I started stitching it. I just couldn't, it was hard for me to stop stitching on it. It was just absolutely gorgeous. I loved it. It's on a fabric that I dyed. I ice dyed this one, I think. Maybe it was jar dyed. But I went with the purple. Purple is my favourite colour. So purple and grey. So we've got, I believe that is Colourworks Rainy Day. And then we've got the grey, which is Threadworks. And then that one there is, I believe, a Country Garden. It's a Derby or something like that. So I loved that one. That was an absolute pleasure. So I do have another couple of Modern Folk Embroidery designs that I want to do as well. There's 2 more. And they're in my list for next month. Next up was the last of the salt boxes that I started in April, and it is Autumn Salt Box, Pinker and Pumpkin. That green was a killer. It just kept going and going. It just never stopped. But the result is beautiful, so really happy about that. So I need to decide what I'm doing with them now. I'm thinking they're probably going to be pillows, in all honesty. I'm just going to have a huge
huge. There's going to be pillows all over the place, all over my shelves. It's going to, you know, I'm just going to stack them all together and put them in bunches and stuff. Yeah, I'm just going to be pillow nut. Oh, here's a thought. Where have I put this one? Now, when I was working on the antisocial bat, and I was obviously, you know, the start of the week wasn't great, and I just, you know, I wasn't overly focused. I was getting frustrated because I kept on losing my bloody scissors. It's like I'd put them down. Where have I put them now? You know, and I've been hunting around trying to find them, and I was getting a little bit frustrated. So I created my first ever fob. Love to stitch on one side and stitching time on the other. Now that part there, I sort of got the idea, I think, from Pinterest, I think it was. From just some free bits and pieces. I used 4245, I think, DMC, because it's my favourite DMC. I think. Is it? I don't know. And then I just had some of this cord. I did all this in bed, alright? So this was like late at night, and I grabbed some stuffing and I just stuffed the heck out of it and stitched it together. I should have probably added some weight or, you know, something like that, but I'll learn for next time. It was only after I did it that I actually went and watched a tutorial on what to do. Would have saved a lot of swearing. So now I always know where my scissors are because I just grab the pillow and I'm like, ah, that's what the big woohoo about these sorts of things are. Makes total sense now. Right, so here's another finish. Antisocial bat. This one has been in my folder since 2019. It's been in there a while. And I keep on saying, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And just never got around to it. And then I just sort of thought, right, screw this, we're doing it. We're not mucking around no more, we're going to do this one. The piece of fabric was a rescue piece. So I don't know, I can't remember the name of it because I'd used it for something else, decided it didn't work, took it all out, and hadn't noted down what the fabric is. It is Jodie Ree though, I do know that. So this is Antisocial Bat by the Witchy Stitcher. Now, the words up here and these three lines here are DMC 4245. Now DMC 4245 is made up of 4 colours. So I got those 4 colours and that's what I used for the bats around here. The darkest one I used for the back stitch and for the word darkness down the bottom. And she's all done. That's a purpley tone and it is on a sparkly fabric, so you know, I might like gothy, but I do like sparkle. I'm a contradiction. I'm a difficult child. So there we go. Really love that. I'm really happy with the result of that one. And then one of my oldest whips. So I sort of thought I want to get one of my old whips done. I want to try and finish one of my old whips each month for the rest of the year. That's one of my goals. So that pile will go down even further. So at the end of the year, I want to start next year with single figure whips. One can hope. So this one was another one that I was dismantling. Joan Elliott, A Year of Magical Stitching. I decided I'm not going to do it, at least not all as one. I thought individually some of them I would be interested in doing. The witch one, I've actually already got that from a Just Cross Stitch magazine as well, that chart. So I just sort of thought, no, I'm just going to bin it. And then I had a look and I realised how much I'd done on number 1. And the only reason I really enjoyed doing number 1 is that it reminded me of my granny. Granny was she was very manners and very correct. And she gave me a
love of cooking, a love of reading, the adventures that, you know, you'd be able to go on, and those sorts of things. But she was always proper whenever we went anywhere. If we were going out for morning tea, she was dressed to the nines, you know, and she expected me to do the same thing. My hair always had to be done. Nothing was allowed to be torn or anything like that. And I remember when I was little and I used to come down to Wellington to stay with them, we had a very fancy place in town and it was very expensive and that sort of thing, and Granny would take me there, and I remember her wearing her gloves, and it was just so lady, you know. And this one sort of reminded me of my granny. I could imagine my granny wearing these clothes and looking very ladylike. And so when I thought about that, I thought, you know what, I'm going to finish this, and this is going to be Granny's stitch. So this is my granny. She sang, she crafted, she spun, she taught me how to spin. We would go on bushwalks and things like that and pick up moss and bark and that, so we could dye the wool that we got so that we could spin it. Granny gave me a love of cooking and creating stuff out of nothing. She was the one that, when I was sick, it was Granny's soup. When I had to go to the doctors, it was Granny that was taking me there because Mum was working. And she, you know, it just reminds me of her. It reminds me of the sort of ones that she used to stitch as well. She used to do embroidery and tapestry, and she tatted, and she was very, very crafty. And so the only thing I had to do was finish the tree and do the back stitch. That was the only thing that hadn't been done. Oh, and the crown. So I got that done on Friday. And then I've been corrupted. Honestly, it's all these ROADIE floss tubes, and now the sun's coming out, so this is hopefully going to work. So my antique Ada that I had a few extra bits. So this one is called the Butterfly Garden Needle Book. So it is going to get made into a needle book, which is why there's so much extra fabric. It's by Nikki's Creations, and it was out of I keep on thinking a Joss Cross Stitch magazine, 2016 issue. All that, you know, that's all it had down the bottom was 2016. So I don't know which magazine, but there we go. I changed the colours, as I do. But it's definitely not something that I would normally stitch. It is most definitely something my granny would stitch. Maybe that's what did it. Doing that other one with, you know, and thinking of my granny, maybe that's what's corrupted me. I don't know. But my friend's mum, I'm not quite sure how his mum saw it, but she loved my scissor fob. And I said, well, do you want me to make? You know, does she want one? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, what's your favourite colour? What's your favourite flower? Lily and pink. And I'm like, really? You can't choose a rose or a carnation or something easy for me to find a picture of? But okay. Couldn't find a lily one, at least not a small enough one for a fob or anything like that. So I thought, okay, well, the other option was pink. And I thought, well, I'll do a pillow and a matching scissor fob. And I said to him, it was only after I'd done the pillow portion, that I said to him, would your mum want a pillow and or a fob? And he goes, just a fob. So it's too late now, I'd already stitched it. So this one is called, it's also by Nikki's Creations. This one's from Just Cross Stitch, April 2017. It's Buttercup. So it's supposed to be obviously all in yellows and that sort of thing. I just liked the shape of the flowers. So here we go. Can you see that? I don't know. The sun's not helping. I can't see nothing. Hang on. We're working. Please hold. Okay. So I need a smaller board for this sort of thing. Okay, there we go. Now I can see. Okay. So I changed pretty much everything. The other thing that did my head in these two little birds down the bottom were supposed to be two different birds, and it was doing my head. It's like, while I'm okay with this part here not being the same on either side, because I sort of figure it's plants and stuff, and I know there are differences in birds, I'm perfectly understanding of that, but it just bugged me that they weren't symmetrical, so I made them symmetrical. They're supposed to be two different birds. I used variegated throughout the whole thing, so it's all Gentle Arts or Colourworks or Weeks Dye Works. So it's all over dyes. Oh, there we go. Why didn't I need the board before? Silly girl. And so because she just wants a fob, and I was going to stitch two sides, and I thought, no, screw that. I'm just going to do one side, because by then I'd had enough. I was tired, and this was late. This was last night, by the time I reached this point. And I just sort of thought, oh, I'm just going to do one side. So I asked what the initial was, his mum's initial. And that took me a while. And I should have gotten up and got myself some graph paper, but just whatever. Who needs graph paper? You just put it in. So this is what I did. So I took a portion of the other one. This one here. So I took this portion here, right? And then I just added a little foot to it. And again, it's all with the overdyes. That S was stitched 5 times in total because I wasn't happy with it. And by the 5th time, I was like, that's staying. I'm not doing that anymore. Oh my God. Oh my God, look at that. An hour and a half. That is a lot of viewing. Thank you. If you're still here, thank you. The question is, did anyone keep count? Did I make the 50? I did. I think I'm about 51. I'm over my target. So my 50 to celebrate turning 50 this year. Target's complete. That does leave a little bit of a problem of what else am I going to do this year? And some of it is these new starts, new designers, and that sort of thing. The other one is, now that I've done that, I can focus on my Halloween tree ornaments, which I want to do. One of my friends said, well, you've done that, finished 50. What about FFOing 50? And I'm like, well, because I know that I'm going to be doing the Halloween tree, and I know there's going to be about 20 decorations on that. I've already framed my 12 mill hills and that sort of stuff, plus those other ones, plus these. I'm not too far off I won't be too far off the 50 after I do my little ornaments. So I don't know what my challenge is going to be this year. I think the rest of the year I'm just going to have fun. I do want to work on one of those every month. Whether I finish it or not, I don't care. Oh, I do care. But I just want to work on one a month. I mean, there's about 12 there, so maybe 2 a month. To see if I can finish any of them. So that might be my challenge for the rest of the year. But no, well pleased. Well pleased. Yes, there are some small ones in there and stuff like that. But in all honesty, quite often, I don't know about you, but I find that the small ones can sometimes take just as long as some of those bigger ones, because the fiddly little things, or there usually is a lot more, change of colour, or I don't know, it's deceptive how many stitches are in a small area. So yeah, so there we go. Next week, what are the plans next week? So I've got Matariki on Friday, so I'll be going to that. I don't know how long I'll be lasting, but I'm going to give it a go, and just try and stay longer than an hour would be good. To me, if I can make it an hour, that's a success to me. So we'll give it a go. Other than that, I'm just gonna sort of just putter along. I get to work from home 2 days a week this week, so I'm happy about that. So I'll be a bit more relaxed this week. Next week we might go through what I've got left incomplete, from over there. So we might do that next weekend. And if I do whatever I do in Matariki or stuff like that, I'll show that as well. But I haven't got anything planned for any stash haul or anything like that. Nothing's planned. Although I do want to get some more lugana for next month. So there you go. Alrighty, so I'll try and remember to leave links down below, but honestly my brain's a little fuzzy now. I've had so little sleep over the last few days, which explains how I was able to, finish so many. Joys of insomnia, it does give you more time to stitch, but my feet are falling off frozen because I don't know where any winter socks are and I don't have any slippers, and it's getting colder, and it's, the clouds and everything are coming over and it's getting darker again. So I think I need to go and have a coffee, curl up in bed and carry on stitching. So don't forget, march the beat of your own drum. That's where the magic happens. Take care of your body and have a good, safe week. Be kind to yourself as well.